So okay guys, here we are in our aircraft. You can basically close all this. So all we have to do now is start the aircraft. I have explained how to set up the path uh, in this video itself, but unfortunately the voice has not been recorded. So I'm playing on my Cosmic Byte joystick. You can choose keyboard, or if you have a setup, well and good. So let's do our startup procedure to start an Airbus A320, which is of Air India. This video glitches, we can't help that. That is the by default how Microsoft plans it, and if you request a gate, this would go back and again come and join in on our gate. So these are the few bugs or glitches we can say here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's go ahead with the startup procedure. If you want to make it more realistic, you can request for ground service as well. So to start up Airbus A320, first is battery, which is on the panel above. Battery 1, battery 2.
Clearance delivery AirIndia Alpha India 8758 IFR to Chennai, ready to copy.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 is cleared to Chennai Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 27 right climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.9er squawk 0514.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 cleared to Chennai Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 27 right climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure on 118.9er squawk 0514.
Okay, so as I have set up
AirIndia
my
Alpha India 8758 readback is correct.
sorry for that.
Contact ground on 121.775 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Okay, so we'll do that later. So just to mention, I have set up my comms to AI comms. Can you see AI radio communication? So as soon as I switch on my battery, my co-pilot would go ahead and ask for permission for our flight path. So now just to set up our aircraft, battery is 1. You can do the checklist as well, which is available here. So this will give us each and every checklist and it will follow up with you. Okay, so let me just take you through the checklist in this video, and later we can do that automatically. So now before we go ahead and do the checklist, let's enable these two. So battery 1, battery 2, and then we go ahead and select external power. So once external power is on, the batteries are not being consumed of an aircraft. The external power from the vehicle, which is probably here, if you can see, this is the external power unit which would provide the power to the aircraft. So now before we go ahead, we'll just come to our MCDU. Okay, there are a few informations which we need to fill. First we'll go to the init page. We'll check everything is fine. Our cruise level is 30,000 feet, which is flight level 300. The temperature which is minus 44 degrees. Now in performance, if you can see, our V1 is 162, our VR is 169, our V2 is 171. So these all things will be by default feeded by the game. Once you do the flight path on the game itself, I'll showcase you how you can set up all these while setting up the MCDU. So now if we see our flaps, it says none here. So flaps has THS, which says none. So if you see our flap button, there are numbers 1, 2, 3 left and full, right? So for this flight, for takeoff, we'll do flap 1. So we just type 1 and enter it here. So the aircraft knows we will be at flap 1 during takeoff. And as you saw on our init page, the flight level is 30,000 feet. So all you have to do is go ahead and feed our thing to 30,000 feet, which will be 30,000 feet, and everything is in manage mode. So the autopilot will do things based on how the flight plan has been scheduled and the restrictions on each waypoints. So now after, so we can leave it in the flight plan page, which is F plan here. You can scroll by up and down if you want to check your flight plan. All you have to do is switch to plan and maybe give it a 20 nautical miles of radius, and all you have to do is scroll here. It will take us through each waypoint of how we would be flying into Chennai, right? So during the normal flight it should be in arc, and I like to keep it in 80 until we reach a specific approach, the distance from Chennai. So what we can do is switch on flight director, which will enable here one FT2, and we can switch on the constraints, which is constant information on each waypoint, which will be showcased to you on your flight display. I would like to do terrain on this thing display as well, but it doesn't really work appropriately. So now just to take you through the easiest way to do a startup of flight is through the checklist. Okay, what we can do is press on evaluation. It
Battery
will do
switches
everything for us.
on. External power on if available. Engine generators
Fault,
on/fault displayed. Engine bleed air switches.
which are here, engine
On.
bleeds, just to keep you in
APU
mind.
master switch.
Ground generic
This
Alpha
one.
Kilo Juliet 1 tree.
We have to start with the APU now. APU on,
APU start.
then we have to press on the start button,
On.
and then we have to wait
APU
for
start.
it to be avail. You can see avail once the APU starts. You can hear the sound as well. Can you see the APU starting up? This is the sound of the APU, which is situated in the back of the aircraft, and it shows the starting procedure as well. You see it's
Wait
95.
for avail lid. APU bleed.
Now you see it shows avail. So now the APU is available to power the aircraft. Now all you have to do is switch on the bleeds, which will help us in
External power.
switching on the main engines of the aircraft during pushback. So once we have APU power on board, we go ahead and switch off the
Off.
external power
Fuel pumps
and switch on the fuel pumps.
on. Beacon
And once the aircraft goes live,
on.
we have to go ahead and switch on the beacon. So this is the before engine startup, which we do, and then we can do start engine. Before going to start engine, what we have to do is we have to request for taxi, which you can do after the pushback as well, but I would like to do just to see which way to turn my aircraft. I know I have to turn my tail to my left so that we taxi out to the right. Just to show you and make your life easier, I'll just show you. All you have to do is come here and press on request taxi IFR.
Ground AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
It will
with
go ahead
Kilo
and request the
ready to
taxi
taxi
IFR.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 taxi to and hold short of runway 27 right using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 123.675 when ready.
The pilot will go ahead and acknowledge
AirIndia
that.
Alpha India 8758 hold position. Caution other traffic.
There may be some other traffic which is asking us to hold position as of now, but we are not taxiing as of now, so as they didn't acknowledge, we'll do acknowledge taxi
Taxi
clear.
to and hold short runway 27 right using taxiway Alpha AirIndia Alpha India.
Can you see it is asking us to
8758.
taxi to to our
AirIndia
right,
Alpha India
so I have to take the tail towards the
8758.
left.
Continue taxi.
So now
Roger AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
I have to go. So before we go ahead and request our ground service to push back, I'll switch on couple of lights. Let's switch on the seat belts and non-smoking lights. Then I'll switch on the nav and log lights, which is basically the two lights here, the green and red, and our logo light. As it is night, we'll switch on our wing lights as well and beacon. Strobe lights is something which you switch it on before entering the runway, and then our landing lights which are retracted. I'll show you before entering the runway. So this is the taxi light which you have to switch on. So let's request for pushback, and then we can go ahead and switch on all those lights and start our engines. So requesting pushback.
Ground AirIndia Alpha India 8758 requesting pushback.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 pushback request accepted.
So can you see, this is the pushback truck which will come here and attach to our aircraft. It is asking us to disengage the parking brake, so we'll wait for it to attach. We can see it here or within the cabin. It will give you a jolt once it is ready to push back. If we would be able to see the jolt. Give it some time. Yeah, so now you release your parking brake. So now the pushback has started. All we have to do is now request the pushback tug to steer our tail to our left so that we can taxi out to the right. We'll wait for a while to reach the blue line before asking them to, or else in Bangalore I know we
Ground
steer
AirIndia
before
Alpha
and
India
then go ahead and attach
8758
to the
requesting pushback tug to
taxi
steer
line.
the aircraft to the left.
So as you can see,
AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
oh, I'm so
your
sorry.
request has
It
been
is
transmitted to
my
the
bad.
operator.
In place of right, I asked him to go left.
Ground AirIndia
So
Alpha India 8758
I'll just ask him
requesting
to
pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the
the right. Again, it will move me to the right.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Your request has been transmitted to the operator.
My bad. Totally my disorientation here. So as we push back, you can start up the engine during pushback, but I love seeing the pushback, so I start up the engine once the pushback is over. At a certain point we can ask them to stop pushing us back, and we would start our engines. So as you see, one of the aircrafts is waiting behind us. So we'll just ask them to
Ground
stop
AirIndia
pushback
Alpha
here.
India 8758 requesting the end of pushback.
AirIndia Alpha
We'll
India
engage our
8758
parking brake.
request
Don't worry,
pushback
they will
received.
pass on and eventually vanish. Yeah, as you saw there. So as we have done our pushback and everything is set up in the cabin and our parking brakes are set, all you do is start engine now. So for that,
Thrust
go through the
levers.
checklist. Idle,
Idle.
thrust list,
Engine mode selector.
to ignition,
IGN/start.
start,
Engine master 2.
on.
On.
You can do one by
Engine
one,
master 1.
but Airbus allows to do both
On.
at a simultaneous time, so you can do
Engines.
so. We have to monitor this. If we see outside on our engines, you see them rotating. Yeah, and all you have to do is wait for our N1 to stabilize, which is this. It will take some time to stabilize, so hold back. So as you see, our N1 is stabilizing as 19.9. It will stabilize at 20.1 ish, so we don't have to worry.
Confirmed stabilized.
It automatically confirms it is stabilized. Now we have to do couple of more things before we can start our taxi. So after engine checklist, which we have to do, we have to switch off our APUs as the aircraft is powered by the engines now. So let's go through this.
APU bleed.
So we will switch off the bleed.
Off. APU master
We'll
switch.
switch off the master switch.
Off.
We don't have to switch off that.
Engine mode selector.
Engine mode to normal.
Normal.
So everything is set up. So before taxiing, as I mentioned, I'll switch on the taxi lights to taxi. Every other lights are on, no need for landing lights as of now. We can start our taxi right now. So if you're taxiing within the cabin, I'll just show you how to align to those blue lines so that you know your taxis are straight. And before taxiing as well, I'll show you how to deploy the flaps and arm the speed brake. So let's go through that. You can change this display using this. I would like to have a fuel here because as I have engine mapping here. So let's go ahead and as we are taking off with flap 1, we'll assign flap 1. You can see here it says 1 plus F, so that's the flap setting. If you hit it one more time, it will go to 2. We don't want 2, we want 1 plus F. Now to arm the speed brake, all you have to do is pull it up and it arms itself. Now we are ready to taxi. Just to show you the outside view, we see our taxi lights are on, engines are on, logo lights are on, and nav lights are on. Strobe light is something which we switch it on before we entering the runway. So let's start our taxi. Release parking brake, give some power to the aircraft, and with your rudder you can maneuver the aircraft or with your wheels. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so now we align ourselves with the taxi line. Give it some time as the front wheels are behind us, and yeah, so this is how it will align. Just to show you from an outside perspective, it would be perfectly aligned to the taxi line. Can you see? So let's go ahead and taxi to the runway. So on the joystick, X is something which you brake with, but if you use rudder, the aircraft will automatically slow down for a bit, but if you use your wheels, it won't slow down. So it's again with regards to your preference, how you want to do it. I like to use the wheels to turn my aircraft as it doesn't lose much of a speed. So after reaching 12-13 knots, you can reduce the engine power to 35% and use your wheels to turn the aircraft. I'm not a pro on this as of now because using a joystick is a bit more complicated than using the the setup, the flight setup. So let's go ahead and taxi to the runway threshold, and I'll show you a few other settings over there. Don't worry about the ting ting sound, it's just a recorder in my system. You see inside you cannot see the airspeed indicator. It says 15 knots, but you have no way to confirm that. So this way you can confirm the speed. You can see it is at 9 knots, 10 knots, which is down below our screen here. So as we taxi, I'll show you any the other configurations we have to do before we take off. So as soon as we reach the runway hold position, the AI pilot will automatically go ahead and ask for clearance to take off. But we'll take some time before taking off. Just couple of seconds to a minute, just to set up the aircraft. So as we reach our the runway threshold point, I would like to idle the aircraft and input brakes here. So this is the runway threshold point.
Tower AirIndia Alpha India 8758 ready for IFR departure runway 27 right.
We'll engage our parking brakes.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 hold short runway 27 right. Traffic is generic on final.
Yeah, so as it mentioned, traffic is generic, so we have to hold short.
Hold short runway 27 right AirIndia Alpha
That means
India
this is the position which
8758.
you have to hold. I'm a bit awkwardly positioned, but yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. So before we go ahead and do takeoff, all we have to do is turn on our strobe lights, our runway turn lights, our landing lights, and our taxi lights to take off. So this has been done in the lights part, and everything else is set up. All we have to do is set up our auto brakes to full. So this is max auto brakes, in case of a rejected takeoff, and our flight directors are on. Our auto throttle will automatically switch on once we engage the power to the aircraft, and autopilot can be switched on right after taking off. So let's see the flight which is incoming. Oh, it has already landed, I believe. Yes. Now we'll have our clearance to take off in a while. So during takeoff,
Generic tree 2.
Cleared for takeoff runway
sorry,
27
a lot of
right
information
AirIndia
here. You have
Alpha
to
India
keep in mind the
8758.
QNH the traffic controller provides us. 29.88 to 9.88, and off we go. Release parking brake, give some power to the aircraft. Not so much. Let's align our aircraft. And flex. Go to flex. This is climb, and this is flex, and we manage our with our rudder. We wait for 160, which is our V1 speed. V1 and rotate. As you say, positive rate of climb. Landing gear up.
AirIndia Alpha
Autopilot
India
on.
8758 contact Chennai Center on 118.9er.
Retract
Good
flaps.
day.
Now
118.9 AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Chennai Center AirIndia Alpha India 8758 is at 3,900 feet, climbing 12,000 feet.
another aircraft will follow the
AirIndia
flight path
Alpha
which you
India
have designed here.
8758, Chennai Center QNH 29er, decimal
Can you
88
see?
continue to be
The autopilot will do
planned.
everything. In the meanwhile, what we can do is reduce our throttle to climb. Anyway, it is an auto throttle. And turn off our lights. And retract, off and retract. Strobe light stays on, wing lights is off. This also can be switched off. So now let's see if we will fly. the speed, heading and the altitude will be automatically captured by the autopilot based on our flight path here, which you can see. If you want a closer look, you can reduce the value here. You can see.
IFLI 451 climb and maintain 13,000 feet.
So let's sit back and enjoy the flight now.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758, contact Bangalore Center on 127.55. Good day.
Going to 127.55 AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Mangalore Center AirIndia Alpha India 8758 is at 10,500 feet, climbing 12,000 feet.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Niner, continue to BL 801 as planned. AirIndia Alpha India 8758 climb and maintain flight level 190.
Climb and maintain flight level 190 AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 contact Chennai Center on 118.9. Good day.
Going to 118.9 AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Chennai Center AirIndia Alpha India 8758 is at 12,900 feet, climbing flight level 190.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758, Chennai Center QNH 29.89, continue to BL 503 as planned. Chennai Center IFLI 2487 is at 12,700 feet, descending 7,000 feet. IFLI 2487, Chennai Center QNH 29.89, continue as planned. Going to 125.275 IFLI 2487. AirIndia Alpha India 8758 climb and maintain flight level 290.
Climb and maintain flight.
So now as we are cruising, we can do a few things here. We can change altitude, heading, speed based on what the air traffic controller is mentioning. If there are any discrepancies in between them, we can do so. I'll showcase you on some other video how to do all these changes. And what we could do here is we can disarm our speed brake. You can leave it at armed though, but that's how the real aircraft operates, right? And now everything is set up. We are at 20,000 feet. We can switch off the seatbelt sign. You can fast forward this to different locations as well, but as this is a short flight, I would like to keep it running and you to enjoy. Yeah, I'll just keep a mum here and let you enjoy the flight with the ATC communications here. If there are any changes, I'll get back.
Give 609 heavy climb and maintain 4,100 feet. Give 609 heavy climb and maintain 4,100 feet. Give 609 heavy climb and maintain 4,100 feet. Give 609 heavy climb and maintain 4,100 feet.
Yeah, so now as we are flying on our autopilot, it will reach 30,000 feet and maintain its flight, the altitude there. As you can see, this would be the view. This is where Chennai is. As you saw the flight plan, it goes up and then comes down, so that's what we are following here. And we are at a higher altitude, so we have to reset our barrow units, which in short is known for. What you could do is you can press B on your keyboard, so this will reset it to 29.92, so that the information transmitted by the aircraft is appropriate to the air traffic control. You don't have to do anything with the thrust levers. It will automatically be in auto throttle mode. You can see throttle climb, it's in climb mode. Once we reach 30,000 feet, we will just bring it down to the normal mode, which is below climb. The speed is managed. You can see how a phase is performing here in the performance chat. So now this is a cruise phase. Cabin pressure is at -350 feet per minute, and it's managed. Can you see act mode managed? If I give my information by
Climb
myself,
and maintain flight level
then
300
this will
AirIndia
show
Alpha
as
India 8758.
not managed. So this is being managed by the AI. Similarly, we have different phases here: descend and approach. Okay, so before we go ahead, you can to the approach phase. Before you go ahead to the approach phase, you can select your decision height. So let's do it at 1,000 feet. We can just put 1,000 and enter it here. And configuration 3 is our landing configuration, which is flaps 3 basically. So the QNH is something which you can wait for the air traffic control to transmit to you, or you can do your own research based on the current METAR numbers of a specific aircraft. So once this is done, we can just press on performance. It will come to the current page. I would like to keep it in flight plan just to see on which waypoints we are in. If you remember from the video, we selected Latit as our transition point, the way out, and that's where we are headed now, which is here approximately 10 nautical miles. So let's reset our view. It's at 30,000 feet. Everything is set up.
Ifly 451 climb and maintain flight level tree 10.
You can keep on reading what aircraft ATC, sorry, the air traffic controller is speaking to you, because sometimes there are a lot of communications happening here, and the instructions to you can not be spoken by the game itself to you. So just to keep an eye on it. I don't think there will be any changes until we reach our descending point from where we start to descend. I'll show you how to descend as well.
Ifly 6782, contact Hyderabad Center on 118.3. Good day. Ifly 451 climb and maintain flight level tree 60. 118.3 for Ifly 6782. Climb and maintain flight level tree 60, Ifly 451. India 57 tree climb and maintain flight level 180.
So meanwhile I want to say that as we are flying, we are a couple of kilometers, we should start our descent soon. So we'll just wait for
Air India 57 tree climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
the ATC to give a clearance. I know the clearance are not very much appropriate here during descent. We can see a white arrow coming up soon if we cannot as of now. Let's see if we can see. So we are not being able to see, so apparently we should start our descent there, and to descend all you have to do is, so these are the values which we currently have, right? And the autopilot will automatically recognize these values and keep the aircraft leveled on these specific values. So all you have to do is give it a lower number here so that it will start descending, but again the ATC would go haywire once I start descending. You see 180 kilometers left and we are still at 30,000 feet, which is not ideally
Air
appropriate.
India 57 tree climb and maintain 15,000 feet.
So we can go ahead and ask them to request these altitudes here, so that we can maintain a good decent decent profile. You see it says flight level 190 here at Tulna, so we can do so. We can, if they don't give us an instruction over here, because we are at 30,000 feet, we will approximately take 20 to 40 nautical miles to descend to flight level 190. Then again we have a higher value here, a lower value here of 9,000 feet. So yeah, so this is something which we need to keep in mind, as I haven't heard anything from the ATC yet. It's broken. It's actually the ATC is broken here in Microsoft Flight Simulator until and unless
Air India 57 tree climb and maintain 14,000 feet.
a team is a specific person is handling the AI once it's broken here. So let us just go ahead and request our altitude decrease by 10,000 as of now. Request decreasing altitude by 10,000.
Chennai Center, AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Request flight level 200.
Air India Alpha India 8758 descend and maintain flight level 200.
Yeah, so let's input
Descend and maintain flight level 200. AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
as we asked 200, so we should be able to give them a lower value. The autopilot will manage itself here, as we have already requested. Just they'll ask you to expedite your descent. Just don't, just hold for the autopilot to do its thing.
Air India 57 tree climb and maintain 12,000 feet.
And after this I'll try to stream Valorant after this short flight. I'll see the streaming of Valorant has been a bit challenging for me as of now. I try to stream it in the night, 11 to 2, but it has been challenging. It's been choppy. I don't understand the issues which I'm facing, so I'm just running it again and let's hope for the best.
Air India 57 tree climb and maintain 12,000 feet.
So this is how our flight looks.
Air India Alpha India 8758, please expedite your descent. Flight level
Yeah, it'll ask us
200.
to descend to flight level 200. So let's expedite. I'll show you how to do that as well. Just give a value and order the middle mouse button, or what you could do is left click on this. Just left
Air
click
India 57 tree climb and
and
maintain
it will
11,000 feet.
start descending. You're pretty much in the path, 150 kilometers, 150 it's showing kilometers should be
Air India
basically
57 tree climb and maintain 10,000 feet.
so let the aircraft do its thing. We should be at 19,000 feet at our waypoint of Tulna, and then just follow.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758, please expedite your descent. Flight
Yeah,
level
you can ignore
200.
this, but it's broken as I mentioned, so bear with me. I'm new. I don't know how the landing would go ahead. It can be horrible as well, which would be a funny clip to share. We can turn on our seatbelt lights on here. I'll show you how to turn on these lights on landing and out on what altitude. We have to change the speed as well because the autopilot doesn't basically manage the speed during descent. So you see, based on our height, it's managing our speed. It's falling down a bit, but again we have to control the speed so that we can deploy our flaps and slats. So if we see on a small note here, it says the limitation of each flap and slats at watt kilometer. So the limitation for configuration 3 landing is 185 knots, if you can see. So we have to be at 185 knots or lower to deploy flaps 3. So as and when we descend, we would be deploying our flaps. So let's say as we are nearer, let me reduce it to 40. We can keep it at 80 as well because 130-ish kilometers. So basically by this point it should be at flight level 190. As I mentioned, all you have to do, as this is a managed mode, all you have to do is just leave it as 9,000 feet and the aircraft will manage its height, the altitude by itself. So let's wait for that. Streaming during morning hours in Microsoft Flight Simulator makes much sense because the views are really great, the graphics are really great, and if you use real engine or real physics, then it's out of this world. So let's wait. So just to mention, during approach, as it will be an ILS approach, we would have our localizer and approach on, and I'll disengage the
Flight 5278 descend and maintain flight level 320.
And I'll disable the autopilot at 500 feet, which I feel comfortable as of now. I'm not a really great flyer, so
Flight 5278 descend.
I'll end up doing a 360 barrel roll on the ground just to land. That has been instances where I'll land and do a 360 roll and directly land onto a taxiway. So as you can see here on our flight path, we will cross Chennai and again come back and land it here. So let's see. We should start our descent here, right here. Can you see that? At Tulna we should be at 19,000 feet and we are approximately at 19,000 feet. So I will follow this path as we have our altitude set at 9,000. Can you see this, the constants? It will follow these constants. I'll just reduce the value to 40 nautical mile. Yeah, 9,000. So it will keep on descending till it reaches 9,000. The AI, as we have requested 20,000, so let's leave it there. They'll give us instructions how to go down. I would like
AirIndia Alpha India 8758, you are 800 feet below your assigned altitude.
as you
Climb
saw.
and maintain flight level 200. Keep speed not above 250 knots.
Climb and maintain flight level 200. Keep speed not above 250 knots. AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
AirIndia 905 climb and maintain flight level 280. Keep speed not above
I'll show you how
230
broken it
knots.
is. Let's follow the ATC and I'll show you how broken the landing configuration here on Microsoft Flight Simulator is. We go here, then we go here, and then we come. The views are actually amazing. You can see it in the daylight or while we descend into Chennai, you can see that. In the meanwhile, just make sure you sorry. Just make sure you reduce your throttle to auto throttle
AirIndia 905 climb and
so that
maintain
the
flight level
speed remains
260. Keep
very
speed
much
not above 230 knots.
manageable during landing. And I have entered couple of things here. 000. Let's clear this out.
Climb and maintain flight level 260. Keep speed not above 230 knots. AirIndia 905. IFLI 189er climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
See, based on the constant show, we should be at 9,000 feet, but we haven't got a call for 9,000 feet yet. We are still at 20,000 feet. As you can see, it takes a lot of what we can call
AirIndia 905 climb and maintain flight level 280.
a lot of distance
Keep speed
to
not above 230
descend
knots.
from a height. We descended from 30,000. It almost took us 40 nautical miles.
Climb and maintain flight level 280. Keep speed not above 230 knots. AirIndia 905. AirIndia Alpha India 8758 descend and maintain 7,000 feet.
7,000 feet. So let's go to 7,000
Descend
feet
and maintain 7,000 feet. AirIndia Alpha India
and give it
8758.
a right click so that it will automatically start descending. sorry for the bad flu I'm having. So as we descend, we have to do couple of configurations on the aircraft. So let us capture the ILS and I'll show you the configuration. So we have to select the ILS button to capture ILS in an Airbus aircraft, and then we have our friendly diamonds appearing here. Once the below diamond reaches the middle point, we click on localizer, and once the vertical diamond reaches the median, we have to select approach. So that's how it captures the glide
Emirates
slope.
546 climb and maintain 11,000 feet. Climb and maintain flight level 220. Keep speed not above 250 knots. Emirates 546. Climb and maintain flight level 220. AirIndia 905. Emirates 546. Contact Chennai approach on 124.45. Good day. .45 for Emirates 546.
So as we reach closer to the airport, we would like to
Chennai Center, Emirates
start our
54610,900
reducing our speed, right?
Emirates 546.
So
Chennai
let's
Center
bring our
QNH
speed
29er decimal 69er.
210.
Continue to MM 503 as planned.
Sorry. We will not enter the speed as of now.
Emirates 546. Contact Chennai approach on 124.45.
So below 10,000 is when we have to start configuring our aircraft for landing.
And maintain flight level 260. 124.45 for Emirates 546.
Ideally, an Airbus A320 lands
Climb
at
and maintain flight level 260.
150 to 160 knots.
905.
So we have to target that.
Chennai Center, Emirates 546, 11,000 feet. Emirates 546, Chennai Center QNH 29er decimal 69er. Continue to MM 503 as planned.
So can you see the QNH given to the other aircraft? We can just enter here, but
Emirates
we'll wait for our
546, you are 10
instruction.
miles northwest. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect VOR DME runway 25 approach via MMB 16 transition. Clear to MMB 16. Emirates 546, descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Can you see the Emirates aircraft
AirIndia
here?
905 climb and maintain flight level 280. Emirates 546, descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Emirates 546.
So can you see the white dot here? This is where we'll end our descent. So by this point we should be at 7,000 feet.
Emirates 546, descend and maintain
And let's
4,000
configure.
feet.
So speed to 210.
AirIndia 905 climb and maintain flight level 220. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect VOR DME runway 25 approach via MMB 16 transition. Cleared to MMB 16 Emirates 546. Emirates 546. Contact Chennai approach on 124.45.
As we reach
Good day.
210, we'll engage our flaps.
Chennai Center,
One.
Cathay 2044, 2,500 feet.
Can you see the speed limit coming up
Cathay
here? The red.
2044, Chennai,
Those are overspeed
Center
warnings.
QNH 29er, decimal 68, continue to MM 601 as planned. AirIndia Alpha India 8758, contact Chennai approach on 127.9er. Good day. 124.45 Emirates 546.
127.9 AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Chennai approach AirIndia Alpha India 8758 is passing 10,200 feet, descending 7,000 feet.
AirIndia Alpha India
Can you see the QNH value here? Just select the QNH value.
68, continue to MM 505 as planned.
QNH 68. So let's reduce our speed a bit more to 200 knots. And deploy flaps 2.
Overspeed.
Did you see the overspeed warning? Because I deployed a flap before reaching the speed. We can do 190 as well. Let's close this. We can do 190 as well. And remember 185 or below for flaps 3, which is our landing configuration. As now we are at 10,000, below 10,000 feet, I would like to go ahead and switch on my landing lights. Wing lights and the taxi lights to be switched on later. At 7,000 feet, so we would lower our landing gear. You can see here. Beautiful views of lights, a lot of lights here. Landing gear deployed, all 3. We have to set a max parking brake. It won't take max as a parking brake during landing. It can do mid, right? Medium. So we'll select that. We'll arm our speed brakes. The flaps it at 2 and we have to go till 3. That's our landing configuration. We'll reduce the speed as and when we go. As you see, this turn is coming up where we take a left and again take a right. So let's have our ILS ready. Can you see those white dots? And the diamonds will appear soon as we align ourselves with the runway. That's when we will reduce our speed more. We can reduce it now to 180.
You are 9 miles northeast. Descend and maintain 2,300 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect RNAV Yankee runway 25 approach via MM 510 transition. Cleared to MM 510.
Descend and maintain 2,300 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect RNAV Yankee runway 25 approach via MM 510 transition. Cleared to MM 510 AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
So that's our runway there. Let's keep speed to 190 itself as of now. No, I'll prefer 180. Let it be slow. So we have everything set up. We have our brakes armed. We have our speed brake armed. We have one more step for the flaps to go, and our throttle is almost at the midpoint at auto throttle. So 2,300 feet is our target. We can see the Emirates flight in front of us there. So we'll just follow them. So they land, then we land. So once we take this turn, you can see the diamonds appearing here. So once the lower diamond appears, we have to select localizer and then we select approach. We can deploy full flaps now as we are at a speed of 180.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758, you are 15 miles northeast of Chennai. Contact Chennai Tower on 118.1 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 118.1 AirIndia Alpha India 8758. Chennai Tower AirIndia Alpha India 8758 15 miles northeast, inbound Arnav Yankee runway 25 approach.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758 Chennai Tower. QNH 29.69er wind 211 at 5. Cleared Arnav Yankee runway 25 approach. Emirates 546, go around.
Cleared Arnav Yankee runway 25 approach AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
Going around Emirates 546.
So now as we are aligned here, we
Emirates
will
546, contact Chennai approach on 124.45. Good day. Chennai Tower, IFLI 6016 at runway 25 ready for departure IFR to Coimbatore. IFLI 6016, line up and wait. Going to 124.45 Emirates 546.
although this has speed to our landing speed of 160.
Line up and wait IFLI 6016. 2752, contact Chennai Center on 118.9er. Good day. .9er for Italy 2752. Italy 6016, QNH 29er.71 wind 211 at 5. Cleared for takeoff runway 25. Cleared for takeoff runway 25 Italy 6016. Italy 6016, contact Chennai Center on 118.9er. Good day. Going to 118.9er, Italy 6016. AirIndia Alpha India 8758, wind 211 at 5. Clear to land runway 25.
Clear to land runway 25 AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
Chennai Tower, Italy 1277 heavy at runway 25 ready for departure IFR to scene. Italy 1277 heavy, hold short runway 25. Traffic is Airbus A320 on final. Hold short runway 25 Italy 1277 heavy.
One hundred. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retire.
AirIndia Alpha India 8758, turn next taxiway. 758 contact ground on 121.9er. Ifly 1277 heavy QNH 29er.71 wind 211 at 5. Cleared for takeoff runway 25.
121.9er for AirIndia Alpha India 8758.
Cleared for takeoff runway 25 Ifly 1277 heavy.
Landing lights off, taxi light on. We start our APU. Wait for it to avail. Avail, and we switch on APU bleed. Now let's taxi to the gate. We enable.
Ifly 1277 heavy, contact Chennai Center on 118.9er. Good day. .9er for Ifly 1277 heavy. Chennai Tower, Ifly 49er, 712 miles east inbound 4 DME runway 25 approach. Ifly 49er, 7 Chennai Tower. QNH 29er.71 wind 211 at 5. Cleared VOR DME runway 25 approach. Cleared VOR
And
DME
into
runway
our
25
parking
approach,
bay.
Ifly 49er 7.
Stop. Parking brakes on, engine idle.
Chennai Tower, Ifly 6016, ready for IFR departure runway 25.
Engine master
Ifly
switch off.
6016, QNH
And that's how we
29er.71.
land our aircraft. Press
Cleared
on
for takeoff
continue.
runway 25.
We switch off all the lights.
Cleared for takeoff runway 25 Ifly 6016.
We switch to external power, switch off our APU, and switch off our battery. Done. The flight has been completed. If you want to switch off the whole aircraft, just switch off external power. and everything goes offline in a minute. Okay, that's how we fly an aircraft. Thank you.